Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to show you the SOG S44, the pocket version. This one is much better and a lot cheaper too. I do actually have a head, but my head will be up there for a while because I'm going to show you this a little bit more up close. Now when you get a SOG multi-tool, you have two options. You have a leather sheath and a nylon sheath. In my opinion, don't go for the leather one. It smells like a and I just don't bother. It's very quick to add to your belt or remove from your belt, but still holds onto your belt fairly well. But with enough pressure, it will pull off the belt. You can do what I do with all my other stuff, which is to have lanyards on it and then just attach it to your belt loop or something. I do prefer pocket clips, but this is my one. This is the one that I bought for my dad as a gift. I added my own little pocket clip to it that comes from the factory, does not have a pocket clip. Very quick comparison between these two. This is so much more expensive and this one's nice and cheap. Much smaller size here. This one's a little bit heavier, has loads of sharp bits everywhere. The pliers on both of them are very good, very strong. They have this compound leverage system, which is actually the only reason I bought these multi-tools. The tools on this are mostly crap. The tools on this are much better. So let's compare this to the Leatherman. Around the same price, around the same size, around the same features. Let's take a look at the speed of using these. I have something, I don't want to let go of it. I want to just get my knife out and do the cuts. So nice and easy to do with the Leatherman, and put it back with the SOG. Nope, not really. Eventually, maybe, someday. With the pliers, it's a totally different story. With the SOG, it's very, very quick to open. I mean, that does take a little bit of practice, but I mean, it is nice and fun, nice and easy to do. You can open it in whatever direction you want and close it nice and easy. I love this. Really big fan of that. Very easy to get your pliers out or get your wire cutters out. Great. You know, this is one of the reasons I love this. But it's still doable with the Leatherman. Just takes a bit, you know, I sort of push it up against something if I wanted to open it with one hand. And opening it with one hand is a very common thing. I do often need to hold the other thing and need to open this with one hand. So, or you know, I'd push it up against my body like this or something. So, doable. The pliers on the Leatherman are much stronger. You know, I've put this through a ton of abuse. The cutters here are super strong, and you know, I've not managed to do any damage to these, even though I cut pretty much anything I want with these. As hard as I can squeeze, I haven't managed to break these so far. You can cut thin wires with this. Anything more, it will destroy your cutters. The pliers, however, you know, they are very strong. They do give you about twice as much power in the grip, in the actual grip of the pliers, because of this compound leverage system, because of these gears here. Because of that, it does give you more power in the pliers here with a slightly less comfortable grip here. It's not as comfortable to squeeze on these really hard, especially if you have delicate hands, which I don't, but still, you know, not as comfortable. With this one, you have much more rounded edges here, much more comfortable to really give a good squeeze to that. Both good, but you know, I would say for strength, the Leatherman wins. I mean, because I mean, I've broken one of these already. I've broken the tip off of one of my other SOGs. I've broken the cutters here. The Leatherman has a little spring inside there, which is awesome. It's much nicer to work with a spring, but this is forgivable. So this one, because it's got a sharper tip to it and a lot more power at the tip because of this compound leverage system, then I would say for small, delicate jobs, this SOG is awesome and beautiful. For more tough jobs, I would definitely choose the Leatherman. So the Leatherman wins in the pocket clip department. I added this on, I find it really useful. Now let's look at the tools inside of these. I much prefer the Leatherman's knife, and it is also a nice looking knife, in my opinion, also made a little better. And this little thing is just an addition that I added, but you can open it with one hand, even without adding this little thing. It's somewhere between locking and non-locking. It doesn't actually lock, but it doesn't fully close. These knives are both removable. Potentially, if you do that, then you still want to use a knife sometimes, then you just take a separate knife. You know, for example, this one is my non-locking Boca. And so potentially, if I want to take all the awesome tools of this without the locking knife, then potentially I could have this without a knife, and then sometimes use this when needed, when it's legal. Now, the Wingman has nice scissors. This doesn't have any scissors at all. So that's a win for the Wingman. We have screwdrivers on both of them. I prefer the one on the Wingman, but they are both fine. The flat screwdriver, once again, I would say maybe slightly easier to get out on the Leatherman. Nice beefy one on the Leatherman. Slightly more dinky one on the SOG. On the Leatherman, we have these grooves here, which allow you to put your fingernail in there to pull the tools out. So we have an owl here, which is like a hole-making tool, punch a hole in a belt or whatever. On the Leatherman, this sort of box-cutting tool, which I do prefer. And of course you can use the knife for boxes, but this is sort of a slightly more safe alternative. A combination bottle opener and can opener on the Leatherman. On the SOG we have this can opener. Both of them work well as can openers. I mean, not amazing. If these were much bigger, I would prefer that. And then it has a separate bottle opener, which is part of the screwdriver here. So next up we have the ruler and file. So here it's a single tool, which is a tiny little near useless ruler on the Leatherman, and on the other side a near useless file which has these lines going in one direction only, which in my experience doesn't do a very good job. It just wants to slide sideways more than it wants to file anything down. It does work, but it's just not very good. The one on the SOG is much better. It would be great if this had a rougher texture. I mean, this is not very rough, but it is a much larger surface area, and you have multiple different ones. We have ones that have a crisscross here, and then a single direction one over here. And we also have one on this side, which is great for when you want to just file a little notch into something. Both of these can also be used as little screwdrivers, and the SOG has this really nice big ruler on the side, which I think is pretty awesome because that is far more useful than this inch or so that you get over here. So in conclusion, they're both very good, but the Leatherman is a clear winner. It is simply far better and tougher, and all the tools are better and easier to get at, and the knife is better, and the pliers are stronger, and it's just a much better multi-tool. But I can't help but love the SOG just a little bit. So I would say if you can afford it, because both of these are very cheap multi-tools compared to a lot of the other ones, they're less than half the price of most other multi-tools, I would get both. Because first of all, a lot of the time, using 2 pliers, a lot of the time it's not needed, sometimes it is. And because they're both fairly lightweight, having both of them, having backup tools on the SOG, as well as, you know, these really awesome pliers that can open with one hand, all these features make the SOG an awesome addition to the Leatherman. But not really my ideal choice of multi-tool on its own, because for me a multi-tool has to be near indestructible like this, and the SOG is awesome at a few specific things, but the Leatherman is a winner here, and it's still the strongest multi-tool that I've used.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. Visit my channel for lots more awesome filmmaking and photography videos, like lighting techniques, DIY projects, behind the scenes tutorials, cameras, lenses, adapters, shoulder rigs, stabilizers, flashes, LEDs, microphones, bags, straps, studio backgrounds, tripods, float heads, sliders, multi-tools, and lots more cool stuff!